everybody. So I am going to use this video as a chance to test my editing, but also to introduce everyone to the characters. I did try to record, and I'm sorry if you can hear my cat purring, she's making me hold her. I did try and record a video the other day and then edit it, but it ended up being really long and most of it was just rambling. And I figure I should give a better introduction than just the video I made kind of looking at the tree. So I'm going to load into CAS and I will see you guys in there. Alright, so here we are in CAS. I'm just loading onto the first sim in here. Sorry, I'm trying to get the music right too, because I'm afraid it's wicked loud in here. Hopefully not. Okay, so this was my Gen 1 sim. His name is William Hartwood II. I did start the game with his parents, William I and his mother, Beatrice, and he also started with his younger brother Edward and a younger sister named Wilhelmina. They unfortunately have passed away, but obviously they also moved out of the main household and became side households. So we'll meet their spouses and their surviving kids as well. And then his son, Bennett, was the second generation heir. And he unfortunately has also passed. He filled his age up. So he is no longer in here. But Bennett's wife, Zelmira, is still alive. This is her. She's a townie. She's Zelmira Gomez from the Life and Death Pack. So this is her. She's a really good mom. She had 6 children because she's amazing. Their firstborn was a set of twins, Isabella, who died as a toddler, and then Marion, who is officially a side household. And then next they had Beatrice, which is, nope, sorry, wrong one. This is Beatrice. She's really cute. I'm hoping she makes it to teenhood. She's not far off. And then they had the triplets. So the triplets were Edith, who was born first. And then it was Floria, who died as a toddler. And then it was their first son and the heir, Percival. Again, really hoping he makes it to teenhood, because their other son is Hayden. And I spin a wheel of extras when they're born to see if they get any like dimples or freckles or like vitiligo, and he rolled to be blind. So I think it would be hard for him to run a farm if Percival doesn't make it, but we could make it work, I guess. And then the youngest child is Alicia, or that's how I'm pronouncing it. I don't know if that's accurate, but she was the final born. She was born after her father passed away. Zelmira didn't know she was pregnant when he passed, and then he had her, or she had her, excuse me. So this is the main household. This is the household that I play mainly with, but I want to introduce you guys to my side households as well. So I will be back. All right, so these are in my managed households. I'm trying to drag it on the screen. It doesn't move. So these are first gen side households. So I'm going to load into them in Create a Sim. I'm going to start with this one first because this would have been Edward's family and he was older, and then we'll move into the next one. So again, I'm going to cut out the loading screens. Alrighty, so this was Savannah Price. She is a townie. I believe she came with high school years, and let me get her into her everyday so you can actually see her. Why are you wearing a hat with that? Get rid of it. Thank you. So this is Savannah. She was married to Edward, which was the second child in the first generation. And when they first got married, I did not realize that Savannah, by default in the game, was set in here to not be able to get pregnant or get others pregnant. She made a deal with the fairies to change that so that they could have children. So they did end up having quite a few children. Unfortunately, all of them, but the first one, who was given to the fairies, and the youngest one, did not make it. So this is Edward II. He is named after his father. He was born, again, another one who was born after his father passed, so his father didn't know he existed. Savannah did know she was pregnant when Edward I passed, though. So this is their family. He has really unfortunate traits, especially because if Percival and Hayden happen to not make it through, I think, like, their age ups, I would probably move Edward in to be the next heir, because he's the only other boy that has the Hartwood last name. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Keep our fingers crossed that Percival makes it. So let me go back in and we'll meet Wilhelmia's family. All right, so these are the elderberries. Obviously, Rohan is a sim in the game. I don't remember what pack he came with. Maybe Discovery University? That's where they were living. They were living in Brychester when they got married, but I have no idea. Unfortunately, he was married to Wilhelmia, the youngest child, and Wilhelmia, they had 5 children. 2 died as infants. 2 died right after the plague. Wilhelmia also died right after the plague, kind of all within a 2-year span. The 3 of them passed. So it's just Rohan and the baby, which the baby of the family is Hugh. He is not... Oh, he's wearing bracelets. He's not quite dressed right, but that's my bad. I probably did not really bother going in and looking at him, but he's pretty cute. I would say I don't have a huge issue with if he were to have to take over the family, but he doesn't have the Hartwood last name, and the whole story behind the Hartwood family being the Hartwoods is that William I was not a Hartwood by birth. His mother abandoned him because she had been a mistress and she was being accused of poisoning the man who had gotten her pregnant. So she was going to be in trouble for that. And so she abandoned her son, and the Hartwood family didn't have any boys at the time. And they needed a boy to take over the farm when the elder Hartwood at the time passed. So they adopted him into their family. Adoption wasn't super common back then, but it was facilitated through the church when it did happen. So that's how that story happened. So it's really important to me that the Hartwoods keep the Hartwood name, because otherwise it kind of ruins William's whole story. But like I said, if worse comes to worse, we will take what we have. So next, the next family will be a second generation household, side household, excuse me. All right, so this is the first of 2 side households for Gen 2. So these are William II's children. This is Katerina. Now, Katerina is an interesting case because I gave her the nun's hat because she married up in station. So she cost her family $5,000 simoleons to get married because she fell in love with a middle-class man. They met at church. Every time I would send them to church on Sunday, she would be hanging out with him, with the other little group teenagers in the group that I made, but she was always very focused on him specifically. So I was like, well, this is a very easy decision. Obviously, she's going to marry him. Like, that's that. This is her forever. So it was very hard for them to earn the money, but that's kind of why they have so much money now in, like, their savings, because what if another situation like Katerina comes up? She was originally a twin. Her twin Amelina died during the famine, so that's why she's the first of 2. Unfortunately, they were after Bennett. They only ended up having 4 kids. They were only supposed, I stopped having them try after 4, and then they ended up trying again on their own, but that baby didn't make it. So there's not a lot of them, so there's not a lot of side households. But anyway, she married Justin. No, not Justin. Justin Delgado's in the household because this is the father. She married Pierce Delgado, the son. And here he, well, I don't know why you're in this, but here he is. So far, they have only had 1 child. They have had a son who is named Henry. And Henry, this is what he looks like. He got his mom's blonde hair, but he's very cute. Again, wouldn't hate playing with him because it would be interesting to have like a kleptomaniac, but I don't, first off, he's middle class, so I don't think he really would take over the farm because he would be going backwards. But also he has the Delgado last name, not the Hartwood, but I also have another side household for Gen 1 siblings who just move out and started trying to have kids, so they'll have the Hartwood last name because it's a brother. It's James, my favorite sim. So let's go visit him real quick. All right, so here we are. This is James Hartwood. This is William's younger brother. And I'm going to turn off my reshade really quick because you can't see some of his face details with it on. So he has vitiligo. Again, that magical wheel, I rolled it. I think he is super handsome. But he was the spare and so Bennett survived everything, but I thought he was a really good mix between his mom and his dad, because his dad has the green eyes, his mom had blue eyes. But this is him, and this is his wife. Her name is Eris, or excuse me, Z name is Eris. I don't know how to pronounce it. This sim came with, I don't know what pack, I can't remember, but really pretty. And I'm pretty sure currently pregnant. So there will be another little Hartwood coming along. Hopefully they get some boys. I believe they have 9 tries is what I rolled for. I can't really remember. But this is only their 3rd attempt. So baby on the way. Hopefully it survives. And that is a final Gen... Oh, that's technically a Gen 2 household, excuse me. I do want to show you another side household that I am keeping locked in, for now. I'm going to release them soon. I don't really do anything with them, but it's interesting to track them. So I will show you them. This is the Summer Dream household. I actually was wrong. I'm no longer tracking them. I did release them back into the world to do whatever they want, but I wanted to show you this because I didn't take off her makeup. That's fine. This is Elizabeth, and you can see Elizabeth, Summer Dream. She's actually a Hartwood. She is Edward and Savannah's first daughter, but a deal was made with Titania that if Savannah could have children, she would give her firstborn to Titania. So Elizabeth lives with them. She did officially get adopted by the Summer Dreams, and then she did become a fairy as well. So she is a fairy, and she is a Summer Dream officially. I thought this was a really cute birthmark to kind of symbolize that the fairies blessed her. So they were in my side households, but I let them go so that she can have a family and have children and live her life, because she could never take over for the legacy anyways. So I set her free. And then this is my only side household of Gen 3 so far, because she's the only one who's gotten old enough to move out. This is Marion. She was a twin. Unfortunately, Isabella died. When she rolled up to a teen, I rolled to see if she would get married, and then the dice said no deal. So she became a nun because I didn't know what else to do with her if she wasn't going to get married, because I didn't want her hanging out in the house, because Percival is getting closer to the age where he will be able to get married. And when he gets married, he needs the space because all of the siblings after him are going to take a while to get married off. Like Hayden, I don't know if he's going to get married, but if he does, I feel like if there's going to be extra obstacles to it because of the blindness, because he can't go to a farm, he has to find something else he can do. And then Alicia is quite a bit younger than Percival, so I guess it's not that much younger, but it's going to take a while for him. Like, he's probably going to be the one marrying her off instead of, like, his mother. Their mother can't make those deals, and by then their grandfather is likely going to be gone, so it'll fall on Percival, while he's also going to be married and having his own children, so I need the space. But this is, I'm actually going to change her. Oh, I can't. That's probably why they had her named that. Okay, so this is the abscess, or the abbess, I guess. Let me see. So this is Abbess Margaret. I did not make these Sims. They were made by Druid's daughter, and I deleted the mermaid nun because I didn't want her. Okay, so I guess technically all abbesses are Mother Superiors, but not all Mother Superiors are abbesses. So we'll keep her an abbesses because Mother Superior doesn't fit. And then we also have the Prioress, which I gave her this title because the abbess is an elder, which means she's going to pass probably soon. But she will take over, so I kind of gave her Prioress because that's kind of like a second in command. It kind of made sense. And then we have Sister Pomona as well, who she is actually related. No, the other girl is. Let me get her changed. I believe Sister, Prios Raisa and Novice Susanna are actually, yeah, you can see they're actual sisters, not just in the religious sense. And I did put them all in different color outfits because it's easier to tell them apart when they're all together. I know in reality they wouldn't be, but yes, this is where Marin is. She hasn't taken her vow. She's just moved in with them. So she's still a novice. She's really pretty. I was really hoping that she would roll to have children because look at that side profile. Those genetics have not vanished. She's got her nose. She's got a chin. Unfortunately, she has decided that having children and being married is not for her, so she will not be passing on her genetics. Although I guess technically I didn't actually roll for children because she wasn't getting married, and it didn't make sense to me that she would have children and not be married, especially at that time. I don't know how other people have handled that. I haven't actually gotten far enough into anyone's series to see anyone roll, because it's such a, I think it's 1 or 2. You don't get married, and everything else on the D20 you do. So, just bad luck for me. But yes, the other nuns were made by a simmer in the gallery called Druid's Daughter. And all I did was slap them into the CC outfits that I have and deleted the mermaid because I didn't want a mermaid. Maybe later in my series we'll deal with that occult, but the only occults that I'm really willing to deal with right now are vampires if they come up, because in my first try at this they did come up. Because originally William II had Greta. That was always the starting family, was William I, his wife Beatrice, William II, his wife Greta, Edward, and Wilhelmina. And then in my first playthrough, Greta died like 4 babies in or something. So Edward got remarried William got remarried because he was still so young. And his second wife had a baby out of wedlock. And instead of her bringing the baby, I played out this whole thing where, like, she gave the baby to the birth father. Well, it turns out the birth father was Caleb Voltor. So I was going to have this whole thing where it was going to be really cool because he wasn't going to be related to them by blood, but he was going to always be overwatching the Hartwood family. Unfortunately, that didn't end up happening because I got a corruption in my save and I lost that family. And I don't want to force anything like that to happen again because that just kind of happened organically. But I am maybe thinking of, like, it's possible that one of the girls in the family could fall in love with Caleb because he'll be there forever. And no one's gonna fall in love with Vlad. Ugh, that phase. But so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's why I'm keeping Elizabeth with the Summer Dreams and kind of keeping an eye on them. I haven't played with fairies enough to know how long they live. I'm assuming they have an extended life stage, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look into it. And I'm willing to play with witches because back in those times there were people that people considered witches, and whether you believe in it or not, I'm choosing to say that the people they believed were witches were really witches. And they are all around. That way, if I want to, like, save someone, they can make a witchy trade or, like, a deal with a witch or whatever. Like, if someone gets really sick with, like, frog poisoning or something, you know, the spots, not frog poisoning, but the spots that they get, you can cure them, but you'd have to go to a witch to get a potion. So I am going to say that they're real in my save, just in case, because you can roll for some really bad consequences if you're a deal for them. And I'm obviously saying fairies exist, but they are stuck in Inniscreen. They cannot come out of Inniscreen because I feel like that makes sense for them. Werewolves I haven't really dealt with. My problem with werewolves is they're not sneaky. They're very obviously werewolves because they can't go more than like 3 seconds without running around on all fours. So I don't know how I feel about them. Right now that's not a big deal because I keep them stuck in Moonwood Bills. They can't leave. I don't know. Maybe I'll work it into something. Maybe one of the kids later on will get one of the aspirations for that and go looking into it. But unless it happens organically, werewolves are not part of my story. They're not around. But so yeah, those are my families. Those are my side households, my main households, and I'm going to go ahead and get us out of here and get back into the main household. I will be back. All right, so we are back with the main family. I am not sure, really. I did look it up. Fairies don't live forever. I guess that makes sense. I guess in normal fae, like mythology, they don't either. Normally? I've never read a book that covered fae mythology or, like, watched a show that had it where they lived forever, but I wanted to double check because sometimes The Sims just does things. So I guess Elizabeth will be able to watch over probably a couple of generations of her family, because they do live like 5 times longer than regular Sims. But since she doesn't really know right now that they are her family, I don't know if I'm gonna have her figure it out and, like, investigate it or anything. And by time, it wouldn't be like a deathbed confession or anything, so I don't know that it really matters. I thought the vampire storyline was cool because, like, there's no reason for Caleb to not tell his son why his mother is not there, and it fits with, like, the times. Anyway, I'm back with the main family now. I don't know if I showed any of the game in the... No, it was just the Sims tree with my family tree. So I did not build this lot. I can't build. It always looks terrible, and then I get upset. So the lot itself, I got it off the gallery. I have extended it to make it larger, and I did go in here and open this up so that it was all one room, but like kind of hidden, because in medieval times that was more common. I did leave the parents in a separate room. This is where William and Greta William II and Greta lived. This is currently where Zelmira sleeps. Bennett used to sleep in here. Obviously, he was dead. But that way the newborns could be in here without waking the whole household up. And they have a cow here. This is the gardening plot. And when you go back here, the chickens live here. I have a mead brewing area. This is where the washing is done. And it's covered, because otherwise nothing would ever get clean, because I live in Henford on Bagley and it's always raining or storming. This is empty. I want to get like those little mini goats and sheeps. I just haven't yet, because every time I'm ready to do it, we come up on like a bovine pestilence or whatever. So I'm like, I don't want to have a bunch of those silly little things that just die. This goes with the mead making station at CC by Pied Piper. This, I added this on. It wasn't originally here. Ignore the tree. They shouldn't have this, but I liked it. It's cute. But this is just an extra little room, because when William II and Greta aged to the point where like I wasn't going to have them having children anymore, because Bennett was taking that part over, I didn't want them to stay in the main house because there's obviously no room. When Beatrice first aged up, she slept in the kids' room because William I passed, and she didn't need a double bed. She slept in with her grandbabies. And I felt like William and Greta deserve some privacy, especially because Greta did live for a little while after the wedding, and they spent all day inside anyways, because Greta was always helping with the babies, and then William helps with the babies. And then over here, I need to fix this. The outhouse used to be here, like the little room with a toilet and a bath, but they kept getting stuck, and I don't know on what. So I moved it to be here. It's kind of attached to the house, but you can't get to it from inside the house. You have to go outside. I just want it tucked away. You can see I have the attic stack boxes hidden over here so that they can put decorations up, even though that's not realistic, but I'm sick of them crying about holidays. And then, oh, that kind of sticks out of the house. You can't tell. Okay. And then this is their little shop. Things that they build, or like things that they get for birthdays, I put it on here and sell it and pretend like they made it. And William did make this, I believe. Yeah, William Hartwood II made the outhouse that way, because otherwise their customers just stand around peeing themselves the whole day, which is really gross, and then they stink, and then no one will buy anything. So that's their little store. I follow Plum Bob in the past updated, modified, amended Ultimate Decade Challenge rules, because it makes it so that the early ages are really top heavy for rolls, but you don't have to roll for infants because it doesn't make sense. They explained it all in their videos. It made perfect sense to me. And then when they reach like child and teen, it's a little bit easier. And then when they reach young adult, it's not that big. It starts going back up and getting more numbers added again, because that fit with the actual time period. Plum Ball of the Past is great if you really like history, because I don't, but I like hearing about it from people who really like it. And they go into a lot of details. But one thing I don't follow exactly is the list of things they can and can't harvest. Because I know that actual challenge are supposed to be like set in England. I'm not saying that this is England. I am saying that it's the Sims world, in the Sims world in the medieval times. So anything I have in the game that they can harvest, I'm letting them harvest. So like, you're not supposed to be able to do potatoes, because England didn't have potatoes until like, I don't even know when, but not the 1300s. So I let them have potatoes, because I have the medieval cookbook, which I'm not going to click on because I'm a non-kid. but you can't cook a lot of the meals like where okay, so I guess none of the grand meals have potatoes in them, but oh yes, they do. The roasted pheasant has potatoes in it. I wouldn't be able to make that ever, which I can't ever because they never get a pheasant when they go hunting. But I would never be able to make that if I wasn't allowing them to do potatoes. Or like I think there's a stew. Yeah, the potato and onion stew, you couldn't ever do that. There's a meal like potatoes and venison or something, I think. Mashed potatoes and gravy. Again, the roasted pheasants in here again. The roast chicken has it. You wouldn't be able to make any of these, so you'd just be stuck with the same things over and over. Or like same thing, this turkey, the roast turkey, they don't have pear anywhere on the list of things that you can like harvest from what I saw. I don't think that's really I don't agree with that. So I just let them have it. I do need to get some mushrooms because I have never had any mushrooms in my son's house. I have lovely mushrooms, but for some reason they don't use them. Actually, I don't know if they have harvested any because they just caught them. But anyways, so that's kind of just like a modification that I'm doing. I'm letting them have things they maybe wouldn't have had back then, but they also wouldn't have been making deals with fairies to be able to have children. So it's fine. This is their cow I named Bluebell. These are their chickens. All their chickens have names. Well, not all of them. I'm sure I missed some. I think 2 of them have the same name too. But it makes it easier because I trade them when they get too old. Oh, Nugget. I think they all do have names because it's full now. Yeah, see, there's 2 named Nugget and there's 2 named Buttercup. I'm gonna change their name. Can you actually change their name? No. Oh yeah, rename Nugget. I'm gonna name him Popcorn. Oh, Popcorn didn't really exist. I'm gonna name him Potato. Is there an E at the end of potato? Yeah, poop. And I don't know. Daisy. The same thing actually with there's a list of flowers you can't do, but I have this flower arranging table. You can see there's a lot of flowers in here. This was Greta's like little hobby. None of the other women are super into it. I think Zelmira probably would do it. That aggravates me. I turn that off. But she spends a lot of time making honey instead, like making mead instead, so it doesn't really get used that much. Maybe when Beatrice ages up. And then I have the toy making station. I think this is, I don't know who made this, but this is William II spends a lot of time doing this, and then woodworking, and then this is a candle making station, a soap making station. Don't really use it that much because it sends the soap into my inventory. And then the candle making station over here. This one I try and keep hidden because it's really modern looking, but I needed something for them to do with the beeswax because I have the the beehive from the game. But yeah, this is my little family. Nothing exciting is supposed to happen for them. On Sunday, they go to church and Zelmira ages up into an adult. So I'll probably play that next time. But this is just kind of trying to get a feel for editing and everything. So yeah, Zelmira on Sunday, which we have a while. Zelmira on Sunday would age up into an adult, and then Hayden would age up on Monday into a child if he passes. And then there will be 2 days of nothing, and then we would switch to a side household on Thursday for Hugh. And then 2 days of nothing. And then on next Sunday, Alicia will age up to a child. And then the next day, Beatrice becomes a teen. They go hunting, and Edith passes away. Because the way that I do it, which I did mention in the first video I made, I roll for their their age up, and then I roll to see how long they'll live into their age up. And Edith got 18 days, so she will die on Sunday when she goes hunting. I think that's how I'm gonna, because I was reading about medieval times and the younger girls did go hunting with when they were peasant families sometimes, but they would only get like small game like rabbits and squirrels, which because the hunting and foraging mod hasn't it has a bug, I think, where they don't skill up. So that's all the girls will get because I'm not cheating their skill up. I did cheat William the second skill up because he's been hunting his whole life. So it makes sense that he should be able to get bigger game. And then as I go through, Percival will slowly rank up his as well. But for now, he has an low confidence. He's had this picky eater since he was a toddler. And it's really aggravating because it makes it so he doesn't finish any of his food. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. And next time, we'll actually do a little gameplay. All right. Bye-bye.